The sky above Velmora Prime shimmered with 1,000 shifting colors, its upper atmosphere layered with artificial auroras that signaled the presence of one of the most advanced civilizations in the known galaxy. Towering spires of liquid crystal rose from the planet's surface, connected by bridges of light, while fleets of silent ships hovered in perfect formation above. It was a world of precision, of perfection, and of strict tradition. At the heart of it all stood Empress Kaelyra. She ruled not just Velmora, but an alliance of 13 star systems, each bound by ancient laws that dictated everything from governance to diplomacy, and even marriage. But tonight those laws had failed her. They've all declined, her advisor Soreth said quietly. Kaelyra stood at the edge of the grand hall, her posture rigid, her expression unreadable. Below her, the chamber that had once been filled with powerful suitors now stood nearly empty. Every one of them, she asked. Soreth nodded. The high houses of Terran, Valkor, Nishari, even the warlords of Draven IX, they all refused the union. Kaelyra's jaw tightened slightly. They understand what's at stake, she said. Or they should. They do, Soreth replied. That's why they refused. The words lingered in the air. Because this wasn't just about marriage, it was about survival. Beyond the borders of Velmora, something had begun to move. Entire trade routes had collapsed. Outposts had gone silent. Even the most powerful fleets had reported anomalies, something unseen, something patient, and something dangerous. Kaelyra needed an alliance strong enough to face it, but no one was willing to take that risk. No, she said quietly. They're afraid, Soreth didn't argue. Because she was right. The council convened within the hour. Voices rose in frustration, in fear, in anger. We must strengthen our defenses, one general insisted. Seal the outer sectors, another urged. We cannot rely on external alliances, a council elder added. We must stand alone. Kaelyra listened, then finally spoke. Standing alone is what brought us here, she said, her voice calm but firm. Silence fell. What would you suggest, Your Majesty? Soreth asked. Kaelyra's gaze drifted toward the far end of the chamber, where one figure stood, unacknowledged, a human. You, she said. All eyes turned. The human stepped forward slowly. His movements measured, his expression calm. State your name, Kaelyra said. Adrian Cole, he replied. Murmurs spread through the council. A human? One elder scoffed. What is he doing here, he requested. Soreth said. And you allowed it? Another demanded. Kaelyra raised a hand. Silence returned. You asked for this meeting, she said to Adrian. Speak. Adrian glanced around the chamber, then back at her. You need an alliance, he said. That's obvious. One council member snapped. Adrian ignored him. But you're asking the wrong people, he continued. Kaelyra's eyes narrowed slightly. Explain. You're looking for strength, he said, for power, for fleets and weapons. That's how wars are won, a general argued. Adrian shook his head. No, he said. That's how wars are fought. The distinction hung in the air. And how would you win one? Kaelyra asked. Adrian met her gaze. I wouldn't fight it, he said. A ripple of disbelief spread through the room. Kaelyra leaned forward slightly. Then what would you do? Adrian paused then. I'd make sure the enemy never gets the chance, he said. The chamber erupted. This is absurd. A human dares to lecture us on war? He offers nothing. Kaelyra remained silent, watching him, studying him. Why are you here? She asked finally. Adrian didn't hesitate. Because I know what's coming, he said. The room fell quiet again. And you expect us to believe that? Soreth asked. Adrian's voice lowered slightly. You've already seen the signs, he said. Outposts disappearing. Fleets going dark, no debris, no signals. Kaelyra's expression shifted because he was right. That's not war, Adrian continued. That's preparation. For what, she asked. Adrian's answer was simple. For a hunt. Hours later, Kaelyra stood alone on the highest balcony of the palace. The stars stretched endlessly before her. Adrian approached quietly. You're either very brave, she said without turning, or very foolish. Usually both, he replied. She almost smiled. You made a bold claim, she said. One that could cost you your life. I'm aware. Then why risk it? Adrian stepped beside her. Because you're about to make a mistake, he said. She turned to face him. And you think you can prevent it? I think I can give you a better option, he said. Kaelyra studied him carefully. An alliance? She asked. He nodded. With you? Yes. She let out a quiet breath. You have no fleet that can match ours. No technology we don't already surpass. No political influence within this empire. Adrian didn't argue. True, he said. Then what exactly are you offering? A pause then. A different way to survive, he said. The decision shocked the entire empire. Kaelyra accepted the deal. Not as a traditional alliance, but as something far more dangerous. She gave Adrian authority, access, trust. And in return, he would prepare her empire for what was coming. The changes began immediately. Adrian didn't reinforce defenses. He dismantled them. Too predictable, he said. He restructured fleet formations, altered patrol patterns, introduced randomness where there had always been order. You're weakening us, Sorith argued. I'm making you harder to read, Adrian replied. Kaelyra watched it all unfold. Every decision went against centuries of doctrine, and yet, something about it felt right. Then the attacks began, not openly, not loudly, but precisely. Outposts vanished. Ships disappeared mid-transit. Entire sectors fell silent. The council panicked. We must respond. Deploy the fleet. Lock down all systems. Kaelyra turned to Adrian. Well? She asked. He didn't hesitate. Wait, he said. The chamber erupted again. Wait, Sorith demanded. While we're being attacked? Adrian's gaze remained steady. They're watching, he said. Learning how you react. Kaelyra felt a chill. And if we don't react? She asked. Then they lose their advantage, he said. Days passed. Then, the enemy revealed itself. For the first time, their ships appeared on sensors. Strange, shifting forms that seemed to bend space itself. They moved like predators, silent, calculating. But this time, they weren't facing the same empire. Now, Adrian said. Kaelyra gave the order. The trap activated. Hide fleets emerged. Energy fields locked into place. The battlefield shifted instantly. The hunters hesitated, just for a moment, but it was enough. Attack, Kaelyra commanded. The empire struck back, not with brute force, but with precision, with unpredictability, with something the enemy hadn't expected, understanding. The hunters faltered, then retreated. Victory was not complete, but it was undeniable. For the first time, the enemy had been pushed back. Later, in the quiet of the palace, Kaelyra stood with Adrian once more. You changed everything, she said. He shook his head. You did, he replied. You just chose to trust me. She studied him. When you made that deal, she said, I thought I was taking a risk. A faint smile touched his lips. You were, she stepped closer. But now I realize, she continued, it wasn't a risk. It was, he asked. She met his gaze. It was the only choice I had, she said. A pause then. You saw what others didn't, she added. Adrian looked out at the stars. They said no, he said quietly. She followed his gaze. Yes, she said, but you didn't. Kaelyra's expression softened. No, she said, because sometimes, she turned back to him. The most dangerous deal is the one worth making, he finished. Far beyond Velmora Prime, in the cold darkness between galaxies, the enemy watched. They had tested an empire and found something unexpected. Adaptation, unpredictability, resistance. For the first time, they hesitated because the prey had changed. And at the center of that change was a queen who had been rejected by all, until a single human made a dangerous deal, one that reshaped the fate of an entire empire.